starting with the 1952 agitation. Okay, leave about half a page. If I get any other fact or questions lo meeku oste, you can write it there. 1952 agitation is the next topic that we are going to discuss. Agitation is a very small topic because there is not much. It is the time period for the agitation is very limited. Andukane manaku ekku undadu. First let me explain the whole, give you a brief picture of the agitation. See, 1952 Mulki agitation. First let me tell you the background. What could be the main reasons for the agitation? See, basically what happened was, earlier also you wrote this point, that when we got integrated into Hyderabad state, there were lot of expectations from the Mulkis on jobs, expected public employment. After integration into Hyderabad state. Do you remember I told this earlier? But they were severely disappointed because they did not get any jobs. This disappointment was already there. Coupled with this disappointment, Diniki, what added to this was M.K. Vellodi as advisor to the Hyderabad state government. I have explained this earlier. See, basically the Hyderabad state government was a popularly elected government, was elected by people. So where was a need for, no need for an advisor, that too a person who has worked above BRR. So there was no need for advisor. We do not need an advisor. This actually appointment was perceived as, viewed as centers interference into the affairs of the state. This was the second reason, background. Okay, the third main point was demand for, there were two demands. One was separation of Andhra from where? We are in 1952, from Madras state. Okay, this is the first demand. After this, the next automatic step would be followed by what? Formation of Vishal Andhra. They first wanted Andhra state and then they wanted formation of Vishal Andhra. So this demand for Vishal Andhra was increasing by the day. But Vishal Andhra demand was increasing. The problem was not with this. The problem was the projection of Andhra people. What did they say on formation of Vishal Andhra? Do you remember I told you that most of the teachers were, you remember that incident? I told you that majority, this is an example of how they projected it. Majority teachers were from Andhra. Okay, so obviously guests to all important occasions in school were from where? Were Andhra leaders. I gave you a specific name. Do you remember? Person most sorted was Ayyadevara Kaleshwar Rao. Name is important because we will come across him several places. Most sorted, and he was the person who insulted the most. Okay, now he used to say, if Vishalandhra not formed, Telangana cannot survive. Why? Because according to him, Telangana was uncivilized. We don't know how to live. Uncivilized. This was considered, and even all these speeches were given in. So, students, Mulki students felt insulted, and one of these students who felt insulted was Professor Jaishankar. That was how the seed was sown. Okay, this is the background. In this background, with all this happening, there was one trigger, one incident that happened in Warangal which actually made the students start the agitation. From here on, remember, there will be two things. One is we have to know the background of a particular event or a particular movement. But the background is where you are getting ready for the agitation. You need a point which makes you actually start agitating. A point in I'll call it as a trigger. I'll explain the trigger, I'll explain the course of the agitation. Basically what happened is, the trigger for the agitation was transfer of Mulki teachers from Hanumakonda, which is a city, to remote places. It was not one or two, it was nearly 180 teachers who were transferred. So, Hanumakonda to remote places, and non-Mulki teachers appointed in their place. First, now who did it? By the district education officer, whose name was Pardasarathi. So the villain was this man. Now this was the trigger, but behind this there was another reason. There was a Hanmakonda middle school in which a person named Rashid worked. Rashid was a very respected teacher of that school. He did a lot for that school, but this person was pressurized, died out of stress caused by the pressure exerted. Who exerted this pressure? The district education officer, who was Pardasarathi. So this triggered the agitation. This triggered the agitation, and the agitation was started by students. Students ఏం చేస్తారంటే, students first form an action committee. They decide to agitate. They first form an action committee. Action committee ki you should have a leader. So choose a leader. The next thing that you should do is frame demands. Now you want to agitate. For what are you agitating? You should know. So you should frame demands. Now whom should you present these demands? Who should fulfill these demands? The government. So presented them to the chief minister. The demands were only two and they were simple. One, remove non-Mulkis from service. Who should be appointed in their place? Mulkis. Second demand was Mulki rules are being misused. So form a cabinet subcommittee to review Mulki rules, to see that these Mulki rules will not be violated. Review Mulki rules. These were the two main demands of the agitation, and they presented to the CM. As usual, the CM assures action. మీరు పోయి అడగండి దాని ఏముంది చేసేద్దామంటారు. బట్ no measures initiated. చెప్తాడు కానీ ఏమీ చేయడు. ఓకే, the students wait. After some time, CM visits Warangal. On some work, he had to come to Warangal. What will happen then? Questioned by students. Okay, he again assures action. He does nothing. Same thing repeat aitadi. Okay, assures action but no measures. No measures. ఇప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందంటే సెకండ్ టైం ఆల్సో ద సీఎం సెడ్ హీ విల్ టేక్ యాక్షన్ బట్ హీ డిడ్ నాట్ టేక్ ఎనీ మెజర్. ఇన్ దిస్ ఎంటైర్ chronology the students did not start the agitation. They are only asking the CM to act. Finally ఏం చేస్తారంటే the students వెయిట్ చేసి ఫిక్స్ deadline. They'll say by this time if you don't act we are going to start the agitation. Problem endante the cabinet subcommittee appointed on the date of deadline. ఓకే, కానీ ఇప్పటిలాగా మనకి అప్పుడు ఫోన్లు కనీసం మామూలు ఫోన్లు కూడా ఉండకపోతుండే, పేపర్ ఉండకపోతుండే. సో ఇన్ఫార్మింగ్ ద స్టూడెంట్స్, ద సీఎం అపాయింటెడ్ ఇట్ బై ఈవినింగ్. ఇన్ఫార్మింగ్ ద స్టూడెంట్స్ వాజ్ డిఫికల్ట్. అయినా స్టూడెంట్స్ విల్ డు నాట్ agitate. What happens is in Warangal students stand outside their school and discuss the Mulki issue. It was a very informal discussion on the Mulki issue. సినిమాలలో చూపించినట్టు ఈ స్టూడెంట్ ఎక్కడైతే నిలబడి మాట్లాడుతున్నారో the commissioner's office window is, you can see them talking from the window. So what happens is the police perceive that they've started the agitation and they try to go to the school. Usually students do not allow police to enter the school. So idilo the police lathi charge the students. That is how the agitation actually starts. Appadi varake agitation undadu. So this leads to police lathi charge. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ బిఫోర్ ద డెడ్ లైన్ ఇక్కడికి హైదరాబాద్లో కూడా అజిటేషన్ బిగిన్స్. అజిటేషన్ అంటే బేసికల్లీ స్టూడెంట్స్ స్టార్ట్ ప్రిపేరింగ్ ఫర్ ది agitation. Kani, with this incident, what happens is this incident acts as a trigger. Students stop going to schools and colleges. Students boycott colleges, schools and start agitation. Okay, the scene shifts to Hyderabad because Hyderabad it intensifies. Hyderabad intensifies. It becomes very severe in Hyderabad, to the extent that it results in police firing in what is called as the City College incident. In this City College incident, nearly 4 people lose their life, after which the government appoints one committee to look into the violence. Okay, that is called as Justice Pingali Jagan Mohan Reddy Committee. Mohan Reddy Committee. This committee was basically appointed to look into the violence of City College. The second committee was the Cabinet Subcommittee. We consider the 1952 agitation successful because ultimately the government listened to what the students wanted. We consider 1952 agitation important because this was the first agitation, Mulki agitation after integration. It was totally led by the students. You did not have involvement of any section of society except students. Deento modalai till the last phase the students continue to work for Telangana. Okay, so this is the whole chronology. Ikkada start aitadi, what triggers the agitation is teachers transfer. Okay, who is the person who transferred? Parthasarathi, and the students do it in a very systematic way. They first form a group, they elect a leader, they present their demands to the CM, they wait for the CM to act, they fix a deadline. Our deadline tarvata a small misunderstanding leads to police lathi charge, and that is how the agitation starts. July it starts, it ends in September 2nd week. Under July, August, September, 3 months we have the entire agitation. That is the reason the agitation is very, very small. This is basically an overview that I have given. When I dictate all the points now, I'll tell you what all inferences we draw. For example, during the agitation, the Mulkis were convinced that though the CM was a Mulki, the control of the state was in the hands of non-Mulkis. What makes them feel that the control was in the hands of non-Mulkis? CM had limitations in his power. Why was the CM limited in his power? Avanni nenu, as we go through the entire chronology of events, you'll understand. But the CM till 1956 was BRR.